Good evening. Hello friends, this is Kevin back again today from Personal Tutors. I'll be explaining to you a chapter that shows a relationship between human and animals. It's a beautiful chapter incorporated in CBSE book Beehive, class 9th. It's a story about a bear cub named Bruno. To explain the story, I'll start up with the summary. It's about the author who, along with a group of his friends, visits a forest to hunt some pigs. They go ahead, they hunt the pigs, they surround a sugarcane field, and they start shooting at pigs. The pigs try to run around, some are shot dead, some run across the field, some run outside the field, and it's all haywire, making it a successful attempt to kill a few pigs. Suddenly, out of the field, out comes running a bear. It is a sloth bear, my friends. Sloth bears are usually found in grasslands, low-lying area, huge cane fields, and certain hillsides. Famous in the northern India side. It's not exactly as a grizzly bear, it is a lazy bear, thus its name is a sloth bear. Coming back to this chapter, suddenly out of the sugarcane field, a sloth bear comes out, and the author is amazed and perplexed whether he should shoot him or not. He was just thinking about the thoughts, whether to be going ahead and shooting the sloth bear or not. In spite of his thoughts, suddenly one of his colleagues goes ahead and shoots the bear, immediately killing it on the spot. While the bear falls down, the sudden piece of his fur moves. It has explained that the sudden piece of a fur that moves is a baby bear that was clutching at the back of the female sloth bear that had been shot down by the author's friend. The baby sloth bear rummages around the dead mother, starts crying, gives out a howling sound, runs across, and the poor author feels sorry for him. He rushes out to catch him, whereas he runs inside the sugarcane field, where the author finally clutches him and grabs him up. The baby bear tries to scratch him with his long nails, but it was a futile attempt, since it was a baby bear, hardly a feet long. The author here is mesmerized by the thought of having a baby bear with him, takes him home and gifts him to his wife. His wife is so perplexed and happy to find a baby cub just as a son in her arms. And when she finds out that it's a male cub, she christens him. She names him Bruno. Bruno here now starts eating things, whatever, my friends, may it be pancakes, cherries, fruit, jams, sandwiches, cakes, bun, fruits, all sort of things, my friends. And thus he goes ahead and does that. The baby bear is now the center of attraction of the house. That comes in the next thing, that is the food chart. Then later on, we come to know that there is an accident that actually happens. Since Bruno is running free in the house, he doesn't care about whatever he does. He doesn't care about whatever he eats. Incidentally, our narrator once places some rat poison in the house to kill some mice around, and our poor Bruno goes ahead and consumes it. He goes ahead and consumes the rat poison, immediately going ahead and fainting, vomiting, gaping for breath. He was rushed to the veterinarian, and there he was given 2 shots of injections when he comes back and regains. You can read the brief in the chapter. Later on, it is said that Bruno actually drank a liter of crude oil that was placed to be filled in in the motor vehicle or anything else there. Yet he was unharmed, and the author, the narrator, was alarmed yet amazed on nothing happening to him, drinking a can full of oil. Thus it happens that Bruno becomes a beautiful part of the family. He is actually named Baba by the author's wife. She treats him like a son. He starts learning things. In fact, when given a stick, he goes ahead and points it like a gun towards the narrator and the kid, and thus they enjoy him being a part of the family. Gradually now, my friends, since the fact is that Bruno is a sloth bear, he starts to grow. This later on alarms the narrator, his wife, and the authorities as well. Bruno is a large bear now, my friends, and he has to be taken care of. Since being wild animal, he cannot be left in a domestication, or he cannot be domesticated. Thus, he was taken to the Mysore Zoo, caged and kept there. There was sudden gloominess in the house. A strange melancholy started to engulf the author, the narrator, and his wife, who actually had taken care of this baby bear as her own son. Here, my friends, the chapter's heading comes, the bond of love. She seems to be saddened by the fact of her son being taken away, kept in a cage, that was a 6x10 cage, in the Mysore Zoo. One fine day, she drives, meets there, after a period of a time, the narrator's friend are sure that the bear would not recognize the narrator's wife. Yet, my friend, a strange bond of love comes into existence here, that the bear immediately recognizes the author's wife, comes to him, sits with her inside the cage. She offers him drinks, she offers him lemonades, she offers him pancakes and variety of food, and thus they spend a whole 3 hours sitting together, Bruno just placing his head on her lap. The lady here becomes saddened and asks the curator of the zoo, "Can I have my Baba back?" Friends, this is the most sensuous part of the story. It's a bond of a lady who's taking an animal as her own son who is caged in a zoo, requesting the curator about having a son back. The curator here says that he cannot do so since Bruno is now in the zoo, thus he is a government property, and he cannot go ahead and give any government property back to anybody in private or in public. She is saddened by the fact, and the superintendent realizes it. He goes back and says her, if the curator says to her that if the superintendent of the city goes ahead and allows her to have her Baba back, she could do that. The author, the narrator, and his wife, they travel back to the place, they meet the superintendent, and there she bursts out crying. She just wants to have her baby bear back. The superintendent, being a person of a kind heart, believes in her and offers her a letter to have the bear with them on certain conditions, yes. Thus, armed with the letter, they go back to the zoo, get Bruno back. He's actually escorted by the police to the neighborhood of the narrator, where in his house he's kept within the cage. Yet, my friends, he's growing. He needs to be given a freedom. They build an island for him, filled up with his bamboo sticks, everything sort of there. One fine day, the police comes, takes Bruno, takes his cage, and releases him on the island that has been specifically made for him. There, Bruno feels so happy getting out of the cage. He starts standing on his hind legs and waves like a kid, waving upon his parents, to his mama, to his papa. He picks up a stick, points as a gun towards them, and thus the story ends. This is a beautiful excerpt, my friends, showing the bond between wild animals and human beings at times. India being a land of charmers, India being a land of people who have been taming animals, monkeys, snakes, bears, has been a land where we actually share a bond of love with certain animals that inverse goes ahead and shows us that even animals are prone to affection. They go ahead and accept affections open-heartedly and readily, my friends. Let's have a look at a few question and answers now. The question here goes ahead that I got him for her by accident. Who says this? Who do him and her refer to? And what is the incident referred to here? I got him by an accident. The narrator here explains how he got Bruno. It was actually the excerpt that I have mentioned earlier. Accidentally, a friend shoots his mother. The baby cub lies there, scared, frightened, and he picks him up. Thus, it was an accident that brought Bruno to the narrator. Him and her. Him means Bruno, her means the narrator's wife, and the last excerpt goes, that is what is the incident referred to. The incident is referred here that the narrator and his friends, they go out for a shooting spree of pigs, where they shoot the pigs. Incidentally, a bear comes out and the bear is shot dead, where they go ahead and meet the baby bear. That is Bruno, my friends. Now, we all missed him greatly, but in a sense we were relieved. Who does we all stand for? What do they miss? And what did they nevertheless feel relieved? Now, when Bruno was sent to the island, he was set free. We all missed him. That is the family of the narrator. The narrator, his wife, the family, everybody who was attached to Bruno missed him. The next thing is, who did they miss? Obviously, they missed the bear who was named Bruno or Baba by the narrator's wife. And why were they relieved? The last question is, they were relieved that being a wild animal, Bruno was not supposed to be kept in a cage. He was somebody who would be better off left on a place that has been enclosed, that has been encaged, yet he gets ample of space to run around, to roam, to be happy, to do all these childish things that usually the bears do out there in the wild, my friends. That's why they were all relieved. Now, answer the following questions, 30 to 40 words. In 2 occasions, Bruno ate or drank something that should not be eaten or drunk. What happened to him on these occasions? Now, this is a very funny reply, my friends. Bruno once went ahead and consumed the rat poison that was kept by the narrator in the house to get rid of the mice. It's quite funny that the baby bear running around suddenly finds some rat poison kept in the house, consumes it, and hell breaks loose. He faints, starts vomiting just like a small kid, you know. He was rushed to the vet, where he was given 2 shots of injections, thus regaining his sense. The narrator here thinks that Bruno must be going ahead and now getting a nice piece of taste of what mistake he has committed. In spite of this fact, the poor baby bear goes ahead and drinks engine oil that was kept in the house, supposed to be kept in a vehicle, and thus nothing happens to him. He was unaffected by the engine oil. The narrator was almost popping his eyes out, looking at him unaffected, consuming the whole can of oil, my friends. That's why it makes us funny. Was Bruno a loving and playful pet? Why then did he have to be sent away? Well, my friends, Bruno was a playful and loving pet, although the fact here that we realize is that Bruno was a male sloth bear. My friends, the sloth bear is a species that comes in the genre of wild animals. Being wild, he was not supposed to be encaged. He was not supposed to be encompassed in a captivity. He was supposed to be let free. He was supposed to be roaming around the jungles, feeding himself on bamboos, and doing his mischiefs that usually they do. A sloth bear is a big bear, my friends. He's almost 6 feet tall, wild, mushy, and weighs around 120 pounds. Now that's something big. So here comes the excrupt here. He had to be set free because being domesticated and pet, the realization here goes ahead and says that he was a wild animal. Thus, one fine day, he had to be sent out of captivity into his own aura, a biome for his own selfness, my friends. How was the problem of what to do with Bruno finally solved? Bruno had grown quite big to be kept in the house, my friends. Can you imagine opening the door of your house one fine day and finding a sloth bear or a bear out there in front of you? That almost startles people coming to you, meeting you, and various things. Goes ahead and they indecisively get scared off. They get petrified, my friends. Thus, it was better for Bruno to be left in the wilderness, yet being captive, but provided an ample of area to roam around and to feel himself the wildness that he belongs to, my friends. Now, these are some question and answers that we have scripted for you. I hope you will be going ahead and getting more briefs on your own. If you have few more sessions or suggestions or questions, do comment us below. If you want to know something about personal tutors, my friends, just click about us. I request you to subscribe our channel for daily updates as well. If you want to go ahead and have data online, please do request us. We would be loving to do that. We have been providing data in pen drives as well, my friends. So this is Kevin Lopez thanking you off today from Personal Tutors for attending this session, my friends. Thank you very much. See you again.